See Reaper, my goal on this channel is to teach you how to reap the rewards of trading while the price is going up or down. Over on total for the daily, momentum is starting to run with a double red dot, so I would watch that VWAP. If that VWAP continues to drop down, then momentum could lose steam and that money flow could go from green into the red, so I would watch his lower time frames, but Bitcoin does look pretty positive overall. Despite this flat action we're seeing here, we have some consolidation after a push up. This could create a bit of an extended bull flag, so it wouldn't be your typical with 3 touches to the top. This would be the fourth, which would technically be rejecting. So I would just watch, but that VWAP does have a higher high with a higher low. So we do have bullish VWAP, which can lead momentum and money flow to stay in the bullish territory, which would strengthen those higher time frames and give us a run up. So futures just pretty much opened. We do still have the gap to the downside, but we did not create that double gap scenario. So that is positive. That's about all we're going to cover with futures today since it just started. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. My 3D printer was calibrating and some glass jars were on the table. But over on Bitcoin for the daily, we do have a retest of support. Momentum is starting to round with a double red dot. Our stochastic is starting to pull back, and that VWAP is starting to break into the bearish territory. So that VWAP is a little concerning, but if we just visit the bearish territory, overall it wouldn't be too big of a concern. Again, watch lower time frames and see if they favor more bearishly. Over on the 1 hour, our VWAP does have higher lows with a strong high. So we do have some strong bullish momentum forming here, which can push that momentum higher, giving that strength, keeping money flow in the green, which will strengthen those higher time frames and again give us that run up. Our MPP is projecting a decent chance of running up toward that 97K next. So remember, once we hit that area, we could continue toward that 100K range next. Over on graph for the daily, we do have a little bit of a retracement. This was expected, so hopefully you're not too worried. Momentum is starting to pull back, VWAP is starting to push down, and that money flow is slightly green, but if that VWAP breaks down, we would see it reject. Over on the 1 hour here, we can see that Head and Shoulders did get our breakdown. It tried to invalidate by pumping up, but ultimately the bears did win. We will delete this pattern as it has played out now. That is positive though, because momentum does want to gain a little bit of strength. That VWAP is starting to favor a little bit more bullishly with the higher wave. So if we can continue this bounce off neutral, that would be a higher low as well. And then we could push forward. It looks like it is trying to break that neutral right now. So it keeps fluctuating up and down. So the next couple candles will be important, but if we do end up dropping down, keep in mind gaps have an 80% chance to fill, and we are creating a little mini gap between the current candle and the previous candle. So if we do leave a gap here, we could still drop down to support. Our next support range would be about that 9476, and then we could still bounce forward. That ultimately could still give us a higher low with some higher highs to push us forward. Over on XRP for the daily, we pretty much got that bull flag breakout, so we will delete this now. Our momentum is pushing up, money flow is in the green, VWAP is pushing forward, so overall we do look like we are trying to continue a bounce here. I would just watch out for the highs and lows to connect. Remember, when they do connect in a straight line, you can get a rising channel. That rising channel would be a bearish pattern overall, so we do look okay here because I cannot connect them in a straight line. Over on the 1 hour, our momentum is starting to round, so I would watch that. With that momentum starting to round, if it were to break down, we could end up seeing a rejection. But again, this is a pretty big consolidation range, which could give us a pump forward. Our VWAP is trying to hold bullish, so we do have a higher high here. We do have a higher low, so just watch how the next kind of wave plays out. Right now, we are trying to get a lower high, and if we follow it with a lower low, then momentum could start to weaken and we could start a bit of a pullback. We did move up very quickly though, so a pullback wouldn't be the end of the world. Remember, you do want to see a little bit of red as you push up, because if you shoot straight for the moon without stopping, you're just going to come crashing back down. Now over on Anchor for the daily, does look like we did get a little bit of a rejection here. We are retesting the top of our channel, so watch how the next candle plays out. The next candle will be important because that could give us the confirmation of a bounce or a rejection. Momentum does want to round. VWAP is holding bullish, but it does look like it does want to round as well, so keep an eye on that, as that would lead money flow deeper in the red if we were to see a break here. Over on the 1 hour, you can see we did try to make a bit of a bullish trend. So we had higher highs and higher lows that did not connect, but we did end up breaking down. Now we do have a gap to the upside, so that is positive. Again, gaps have an 80% chance to fill, so we could try to push there, but we would need to continue with higher highs and higher lows above this 20 support level. Otherwise, if we broke that, then it would be a little more concerning. Our stochastic is turned around away. We do have our orange above blue, so that is a bearish cross. Keep a close eye on that because that can lead RSI and price lower. VWAP does look a little iffy. It is in bullish territory, but we're getting a lower high, and we are starting to round off and taper off pretty quick, so I would watch that very close over the next few hours. If that VWAP breaks bearish, we could see a lower low here, at which point that could start a bit of a bearish trend. But if the rest of the market were to pump up, I would think that anchor would follow, because remember, total leads most of the market. There are times where other coins do trade opposite though, so keep that in mind as well. Thank you for watching tonight's video. I hope you have a great night. Hit the like and subscribe and join us in that Discord.